Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, glad it's on now.
I'm fine, sir. Sorry for the late coming. Like,
No, well, it's fine. Just let me know when I'm supposed to come up.
all right, no problem, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, I think we can start with this number. Oh, the one person has gone. So I think we can just start with this one person. Um, Good evening, Chisom. Thank you for attending the class. Okay, good evening, Success. Thank you for attending the class. Um, Today's today's Web3 diaries will be about the fundamentals of UI UX, and I know people like me, my shoes. I don't know the difference between UI UX, and though I know that one is user interface and the other one is user experience, but then I still want to know like the actual difference. The definition I have in my head is just the textbook distance. So I'm not actually clarified on it. So I believe and I hope that in this class I'll get clarification, and I hope so for every one of us. And then we're also going to know the difference between product design and graphic design and other stuff. So I'm going to learn a lot of things from today's session. So I want you all to sit tight and enjoy the moments in this class. So thank you, Mr. Victor. Is the floor is yours? Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Gladys. How long? Good evening, everyone. GM, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. GM.
Okay, so I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Cassie is not here. Okay, thank you guys. I can see success, Chisom, and Gladys. So let's go, guys. So I'm gonna be speaking on the fundamentals of UI UX design. I have some few presentations here, so if you don't mind, I'm going to be sharing my screen. If that works for us. Okay, can you guys still hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, where is this? Okay. So if you stop sharing if you stop seeing my screen at any point, let me know.
All right.
Okay. So okay. So this is actually going to be a very interactive class. I'm going to be doing like a full introductory class of what UI UX is all about. And okay, glad you actually mentioned something. Maybe I didn't think in that direction. She mentioned about the difference between UI UX, graphic design, and product design. So I think I'm going to say that at the last of this class, like the ended part of this class. I think I'm going to share and give that definite difference between that. So you guys can still see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine. So okay, the first question in this whole thing is what is UI UX design, because the whole thing is very confusing. I heard about UI UX design. The first time I heard about UI UX design was in 2019. I attended a virtual conference called Davos. Davos is World Economic Forum. I was actually challenged. Back then I was doing graphic design, and yeah, graphic design with my mobile phone and trying to get clients from Fiverr then. And so I actually participated in that conference. I was actually opportune and was referred by one of my big senior friends. So that was the first time I heard about UI UX design, and they really presented it as a very disruptive skill. That, in fact, that was actually when they predicted that next year, which was 2020, there's going to be something like a viral disease called COVID, and they were making reference to UI UX as tech skill that you can work from home, and I was actually very very fascinated about that, and so I quickly tried to understand what UI UX is all about. The thing was not entering. I'm telling you the truth, it was not entering at all. So I just have to go and get some few courses, and yeah, that was actually where my journey started. So very quickly, just like I said, let me not bore you with my story. So very quickly, this is a very interactive class, very interactive section. So what we are going to be doing, since we are just few in this place, I'm going to allow us to have a quick discussion. So I think who's going to be going first? I want us to share, with me, what is your experience? Maybe you've used any Web3 product, or maybe there's an app or a website that you are using, and you actually find something difficult. Like, there's something difficult about the website and the app. Is there anyone here that have had that kind of experience before? Your first time using any Web3 product, or maybe Web2 product? Is there something you've discovered and maybe it was kind of very confusing? It was frustrating for you to achieve your task. The website is bad. Like, come on. Is there anyone here, that can share an experience with us? Just a very quick one. Please go first. Uh-huh. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, yes, we can. I don't think I've ever used
Okay,
any
so
app
going
like
first.
no.
Oh wow. Okay, okay. Let me narrow the question down. Have you ever had any difficulty using Telegram? You use Telegram, you use WhatsApp, you use what other app do you use? You use your mobile phone, your mobile app, bank mobile app. Which other app do you use? Which other app? You use Twitter, you use Facebook. Maybe at a point, have you actually noticed, a difficulty in any feature in Facebook or in
Yeah,
some of this app? Okay, yeah.
yeah, sure.
Okay, so actually, some of those problems are this is actually why they need a UI and a UX designer. Some of those or problems that the actual user face, the developers or the people that build the product, they cannot underscore the basic problems of the users, and that is why a skill like this is created in the tech space. So I'm just going to walk you through some examples, and we are going to have some small charts and before I delve deep into what I'm going to be sharing this evening. So basically, what is UI UX design? That's the big question. Everybody wants to know what UI UX design is. So just to be very quick with that, UI UX design. First of all, what is UI design? It's UI is just a short form of user interface. It's short form of user interface design. It means how something looks like. Okay. I'm sharing my screen right now. What you are seeing is an interface of my system. So UI design is all about user interface. It's about the physical appearance of the product. Let me narrow it down a bit. I gave a tailor to sew a clothes for me. and the clothes is so fine. The physical appearance of that clothes is the interface, the physical interface of that product or that clothes. So UI is basically user interface, like the physical appearance, just like I have in my screen here. It is designing the look and the feel of a product, how a product is going to look like, and how a product is going to feel like when you look at a product. Wow, this is beautiful. This is amazing. It is enticing. That is just what user interface is all about. So it focuses on how things look, and some of the elements that helps us in designing the interface of a product is their colors, their buttons, their icons, and their typography and their web layout. So these are like some of the elements that, when put together, forms the interface of a product. So the goal of a UI designer is to make the product to be visually appealing. Let me break it down a bit. The goal of a UI designer is to make the product beautiful. Is to make the product, when I look at the prototype, I'll feel like, wow, this is beautiful. So this is just the goal of a UI designer. So moving forward, so what is a UX designer? What is UX? Just like I said, these two things are just acronyms. They're like short forms. UI is user interface, and UX is user experience. So user experience is about how the user feels. Sorry, like how the product works. I beg your pardon. How the product works. Remember what I said before? UI is about the interface, and UX is about the experience. Let's say, for instance, I'm using Telegram. How do I feel whenever I use Telegram? Let's say, okay, most of us use GB WhatsApp. Some people use normal WhatsApp. Some people use GB WhatsApp. Now there is this feeling when you use GB WhatsApp that normal WhatsApp users don't feel. Feelings like, I can save someone's status and the person won't even know I've saved the status. I can put my settings in such a way that I can see somebody's status. I can send a message and the person won't even know I've seen the person's status. Some of these things are features that GB WhatsApp have put in place, and it gives the users a kind of experience. So that is called UX designer. So UX design focuses on the experience the user is going to get when using a product, while user interface is about the physical appearance. So I can actually move forward to say that I actually don't want to go deep and use some big industrial words and vulgar words to explain this concept. I'm trying to use the smallest basics of words I can use. So user experience deals more with the user psychology. How the user behaves is like more like the experience, the behavior of the user when using the product. It um goes more to study about the behavior, how the user behave when using a product. Because if I'm going to study about your experience, I should really understand how you behave while using my product. So a UI and UX designer is someone that designs a product to be able to look beautiful and to become usable for the user. That is just the definition. So let me go through UX again. So UX is designing the overall experience of a product, and the UX designer focuses on how things work, how the product works. Some of the elements that makes up the UX. It is the user flow, easy navigation, and how enjoyable the product is. And the goal of a UX designer, or the goal of UX, is to ensure that the product is user friendly and it is efficient and it is satisfying. So that is what UI and UX design is. Don't worry, I'm going to come back to this later. I think some of these things is going to help us understand what we are talking about. Okay, do I still have us here? Are you guys still here with me?
Yes, sir.
Uh, um, Come on, can I get a response? Okay, thank you. So yes, we're just going to have a small chat now. Can you guys see my screen, right?
Sir.
Impression items now. Chair. So this impression that you get when you look at, you're supposed to sit on this chair, right? We're supposed to use this thing to maybe for your cup of tea or you want to drink, yeah, just your coffee, tea. It's more like a coffee cup, more like a coffee cup. So what do you feel like? What's your first impression when you look at these pictures? Come on, can someone, talk to me here?
It looks creative and I love the colors. They are actually my best colors. Yeah.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Okay. Is there any other thing you notice from the objects? Like, is
Yeah,
it okay?
the handles are looking strange. The seats that's supposed to be like flat is off, and then yeah, the handles of the cup are looking really, really not the normal shape I know.
Exactly. So, more what's I'm just trying to use this to explain more about what user interface and experience is. When I go to the market and I see this coffee cup, the first thing that comes to my mind is, okay, if I pour a coffee on this cup, how am I going to hold it and drink it? Am I going to bend my hand and kind of be twisting my hand to be able to pour, like to drink the coffee from the cup? Or how, like, what's in the mind of the user or the company that produced this? And apparently, I'm not going to buy this. I'm not actually going to buy this. Now, this has actually given me, if okay, let's say for instance that someone actually gifted me this cup, and because it's a gift from someone that I cherish so much, and I just have to use it. If I pour a coffee, there is a chance that the coffee inside the cup is going to pour out, or I won't actually have the best experience using this cup to drink coffee, drink my tea. Why? Because the handles are not okay. Now, this is an experience. So, a user interface and a user experience designer focuses on the interface and the experience. I just showed this to explain to you that user experience design and user interface design is not just about websites. It's about everything that you can see in this world. In fact, okay, not Norman Vincent. I've forgotten that his name. He said that design is everything. Everything you see in this world is inspired by design. Everything you see in this world is inspired by design. Let me show you another example. Okay. Now, this year, this urinary system and this door. Can someone else tell me what's your first impression when you see this? Okay, let me actually go first. The first time I saw this type of urinary, I was like, what's this one? Now, someone might actually say maybe this guy is not, maybe he's coming from one village like that, or maybe he's not exposed, or maybe he's not exposed to modern facilities. You're right, actually. But my question is, this gives an impression to the user. The user will kind of pause to understand, what am I supposed to do with this? Am I supposed to wash my hand inside here or what? Before you can actually, okay, no, oh, okay, like this thought can happen in 2 seconds. These thoughts can happen in 2 seconds. Now, let's look at this door here. How many of us has actually walked? Let's say you are entering an eatery or maybe an elevator or something like that. You entered a supermarket or something like that, and you saw this type of door. Now, in 2 3 seconds, you can actually pause to ask yourself, what am I going to do? Am I going to pull this? Or am I going to push this? Something like this. Am I going to I just exposed something. Am I going to push this? Am I going to pull this? Now let me actually tap into your thoughts right now. So can someone actually help me to answer this? What am I supposed to do in this type of door, am I supposed to pull? Am I supposed to push? Which door should I push and which door should I pull from the picture that I have in my screen here? So who's going first?
I think the one on the right should be pushed, and then the other on the left should be pulled.
So what's the reason?
Well, in most places, like or restaurants or supermarkets I've gone, that is how I see it. I mean, am I mistaken it?
Ah,
But I know one is
okay.
push and the other is pull.
Okay. Have you actually seen a door that have this handle and is actually push? Have you?
Uh, yes, I have.
Of course, I have in the bank. In I think in Shoprite itself, in some hotels, you see this type of door, and this door have handle, and they're supposed to pull this door, but this door actually is supposed to push. Now, this is actually a another interface. I'm not going to call this a bad UI or UX because I don't want to dive deep into that. Some principles of UX design is called usability, and some of this things falls into usability testing. So let me not bore you with the terms and the terminology, so you're not run away from UI UX. Okay, so this is actually the real life hack in the UX. This is supposed to be a push door, and this is supposed to be a pull door. So you're actually right. Okay, so moving forward. So in summary, UI design is how the product looks, and UX design is how the product works. So UI and UX designer focus. So just every you painted the place, with your best choice of color. You bought a chauffeur, you bought some items in the house, and you want to make the place beautiful. That is UI. Now you trying to arrange um your chauffeurs and stuff like that, and to hang some of your artworks on the wall, and to like place some of your properties in the right place is called UX. I don't know if you guys understand. UI is how it looks. UX is how things work. That is just the definition of UI and UX design. I'm just actually trying to make things very simple to make it more relatable so that we all can really understand what it is. So are we good, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So let's move forward. So very quickly, I think we should be familiar with this term Web 2 and Web 3. So what is Web 2 and Web 3? I'm going to rush this part because I believe we all are familiar with this concept. So Web 2 is actually this of the internet as we speak. And some of the characteristics of Web 2 is that it is actually centralized. It is the user interaction. User can share just like your normal social media and your blog, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter. I don't think most people actually it's more like Web3, but Twitter, your LinkedIn, some of your social platforms, your YouTube, your Instagram, your Wikipedia, some of those things are Web2 products. And Web3 is it actually represents the next phase of web. Is like more evolution from Web 2 to Web 3. So some of the major characteristics of Web 3 is that it is actually a decentralized control system. It is user ownership and smart contract, stuff like that. So it is just here in my screen. Decentralized means that no single entity controls the single network. Instead, it is actually maintained by a distributed network of computers and blockchain technology. So that is what Web3 is in general. Just like I said, I believe most of us here are familiar with this, but I just have to pull this up here so we can, merge it together to be able to understand what Web3 UI and UX is all about. So, in summary, Web3. This is more like Web3. The picture here is more like Web3. It's more like Web2. Like, let's say, for instance, let me use a physical store to explain Web2 and Web3. Web2 is more like, let's say, for instance, ShopRite. If you enter ShopRite or any shopping mall, you can actually find the price of items in that place is actually regulated by the owners of ShopRite, like the individual firms, that own business in ShopRite. So that is Web2. It is centralized. It is controlled by big organizations. That is Web2. But Web3 is more like an open market. Let's say Ogbete in Holy Ghost, or maybe your any market, any open market, in economics is market. So let's say an open market that anybody actually determines the price of the product. So that is what Web3 is trying to achieve. It is owned by the community. It is decentralized. It is controlled by the community, and users actually have access to their own data. Like, users are in control of their own data. So this is just what Web2 and Web3 is all about in conclusion. Just like I said, I'm not going to dwell so much in Web2 and Web3 because I believe most of us should have a deep knowledge about what it is. So let me move straight to the principles of UI and UX design. Trying to relate UI and UX design to Web3. Excuse me. One of the principles of UI UX design is it is user centered. And what does it mean? Designing with the user's need and preference in mind. So if you are a UI and UX designer, one of the things you should have in mind is that you are designing for the user. You are not designing for yourself. You are not designing for your idea. You are not designing your idea. You're not designing what you have in mind. Okay, this thing looks fine. Let me place it like this. I like pink colors. So I think I'm going to use pink for this website because pink is my favorite color. No. That's not a UI UX designer. A UI UX designer always focuses on the user's need. So the user need is actually the focal point of the UI and the UX design. So that's actually the first principle of UI and UX. So always think about what the user wants and need. One of the key what's it called again? One of the key character or one of the key attributes of a UI and UX designer is that they have empathy. They can actually sympathize with the user, like they care more about the user's need and their wants, what they really want to accomplish, more than what they feel. So another principle of UI and UX design is simplicity. You must make your product simple as anything. You must keep the design very clean and straightforward to the point. You don't overload the user with too much information or too many options. You just keep everything very, very simple. And the third principle is consistency. You must actually make sure that the design is uniform across the whole product. Uniformity is actually one of the basic principle of UI and UX design. The use of your color, your font, your styles, your layout, your icon, your typography. Some of these things actually helps to make the product feels more comfortable as one of the principal action. So we a UI and UX designer actually have to take cognizance that feedback is as important as anything. So when a user does something like click a button, there should be an immediate feedback, maybe like a color or change or a message to tell the user that okay, something like this that you've done is successful. So these are like the principle of UI and UX design. Another principle is visual hierarchy. As a UI and UX designer, you must actually know how to arrange your elements to show or arrange your elements in order of importance. Let me say, for instance, I entered the website and I want to book a flight in the website. Okay, let's say it's actually an app where I can actually book a flight in the app to click a button to book my flight. And I'm seeing maybe they are trying to advertise a product, maybe in the app or something like that. I'll be like, what's going on here? This is not why I'm here. I'm actually here to book my flight. So we should actually place visual hierarchy on things that really matters. This stand out using signs, colors, and placements to guide the user's attention. And so the last but not the least is aesthetics and minimalistic design. As a UI and an UX designer, you must keep the design to be very attractive and it shouldn't be clustered. It shouldn't be clustered. You should learn how to avoid unnecessary elements. One of the things about Web3 designs is most times when you open a Web3 design, you feel like if it is not gradient, it is not Web3. On a very serious note, I don't actually know where that ideology actually came from, but it's actually a signature in Web3 designs, in Web3 websites and platforms, that it must be gradient. But that's not true because when we look at the big products in Web3, we look at Binance, we look at OKX, we look at some of these exchanges, we even look at some of the top websites, Chainlink, Polkadot, and all these things. Most of those guys, their websites are not gradient. Like they are not gradient. They are not all these things. You just carry a lot of elements and put in that place. So you have to like put in mind that elements are not supposed to be clustered all around our design. We are UI and UX designers. We think about the users first. They are our priority, not what we feel like. Not because if we don't put gradient, it's not going to be fine. Let's put gradient so that everything is going to look catchy and more like Web3 because I like using gradient for my designs. So we are not designing for what we like. We are designing based on what the users actually feel and what the users actually want. So very quickly, I'm actually trying to merge this together now. What is Web3 UI and UX design? What is Web3 UI and UX design? So it's in conclusion, Web3 UI and UX design is designing the look, that is UI, and the feel, that is UX, of an application that use Web3 technology. That is just the simple definition of Web3 UI UX design. Remember, UI UX design is designing the look and the feel of a product. So if you want to define what UI and UX design is designing the look and the feel of an application or a product. But if you want to design or define what Web3 UI UX design is, Web3 UI UX design just means creating a user-friendly interface or an experience for a decentralized app, or you can say it is actually designing application for Web3 technologies, or maybe designing good experience for Web3 technology. So you can actually form your own definition of UI UX design. Just notice that UI talks about the interface, the user interface of the product, while UX talks more about how the product works, the experience that I get while using a product. So am I making a point? Hello guys, are you
Yes,
guys still
sir.
here with me? Okay, that's cool. Okay. Okay. So what actually makes a Web3 UI UX design different? What actually makes it different? It is only one thing that makes it different: decentralized interface. That is the only thing that makes it different. In fact, it is if you are a UI, a Web2 UI UX designer, and you're trying to navigate to Web3, the only thing you just need to understand is how does decentralization work. If you're able to answer that question, then you can actually find an easy route to transition into Web3 UI UX design. So the only challenge of a Web3 UI UX designer will have is designing interfaces that interact with decentralized network. That is, from my own experience, what a Web3 UI UX designer have to face: designing interfaces that interact with decentralized networks. Let's say, for instance, you enter the website. The normal Web2 sign up process is you to try to log in with your email and your password. But for Web3, it's not like that. The first your the first onboarding process for Web3 design is to connect your wallet. So you are trying to understand, um how am I going to, because this Web3 is not centralized, it is decentralized. The users have control and ownership of the data. So I'm trying to find a way centralized technology as a whole that will be overrated. It's only I don't like, I don't like, in as much as I have some designs that are more gradient and, you know okay, let me show you an example. Let me give you an example of Web3 UI UX design of a product. Okay, this is an example of, I'm going to play the prototype. This is an example. This product here, I've actually finished designing it and is ready for development. So this is just an example of designing UI UX designing for Web3. So this here is just a landing page design. Just like I said, if you remember the first thing that I said, what makes a UI? They are just those elements: the text, the typography, the color, the shapes, and stuff like that. Your ability to position different elements to form an interaction and to be able to interact with decentralized application. That is your duty as a UI and UX designer, to be able to design seamless interaction and that are very catchy in the eyes. So this is just one of the products. That this is just an example of UI UX in Web3. This is a product. So I'm just trying to show you some of the things that can be achieved. This is an example of UI UX design. This is actually a prototype. This is not a live website. Let me see if I can play the live. Let me see if I can play the live website so you can see what it looks like. Okay. So this is just the design. This is what UI UX is all about. It's not graphic design. Okay, this is an example of graphic design. Let me show you what graphic design is all about so you can't get confused. Gosh, my network is bad right now. Network is bad. Okay, this is just an example of what graphic design is all about in Web3. This is just graphic design. So graphic design is just like designing for social media materials like Twitter. They're just trying to, you are designing for, in fact, in graphic design, you don't care about the users. Your major concern is how is this thing going to be attractive so that people are going to click on it, because they are like social media materials. But UI UX design is more about users and interaction, how they interact with the product. You can actually judge from the example that I showed us earlier, those items that I showed us, the door and the coffee cup and stuff like that. Some of those things are like a physical representation of what UI and UX is all about. So this is more like graphic design, and this here is a prototype of this is a UI and UX prototype. This here is the live website. So the duty of a UI UX designer is you design an interface like this. You design an interface like this. You design an interface like this, and you move it to developers, and they develop it to a live and functional website like this. So this is a prototype that was designed. As you can see, this is a prototype, but this is the real website. So this is basically what UI and UX design is. Okay, let me move forward. Let me move forward. So are you guys understand what I'm saying at all? Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Hello.
I can.
I can hear you, sir.
Please, if you can let me, if you can hear me, let me know. I think I have like 3 minutes so I can summarize.
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you. So this is basically what Web3 UI UX design is all about. So I'm just going to show you like they are like the most popular tools that we can use for our designs. Like these are like the tools that I use personally. You can use Figma, you can use Framer, you can use Webflow, you can use Wix. So this is basically the tools for UI and UX design. So I think this is the end of my class. So I don't know if you have a question, you can throw your question, you can ask your question so I can answer you. If you have a question or anything you are confused with, this is the time to ask it so I can answer you. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, thank you, sir, for the class. Yes, there's one that's yeah, the one I talked about, product design and graphic design. What are their difference? And also digital design and graphic design. Like those two actually confuse me. So what is their difference?
Okay. Let me start with product design. Product design is in, in product design. Let me actually explain it before I give a definition. Product design deals with you are designing for the user, you are designing the user interface, you are designing the user experience, and you are designing what is called the business goal. You're designing a business goal that is UI and UX design to really understand the business aspect of the product that he or she is designing for. That's a product designer. So in product design, I would have actually find something to illustrate this. If I actually know this question is going to come up, I would have maybe do an illustration. Okay, let me share my screen again so I can do an illustration so you see what I'm talking about. You can see my screen, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool. Let me okay. Let me just try to illustrate what I mean. Oh. Don't mind my color selection. I'm not trying to make everything look perfect, so don't mind my color. Ah, thank you. I'm a designer, so
Mm,
let me make it look
it's
good.
fine, it's fine.
Okay, let me make it look good. Okay. I think this can do. Oh, okay. I think I still have another small circle. Come, please. Yeah. Okay. So this is the big circle. The big circle, I think, should be digital design. Am I sure? No. I think I'm going to answer you the one I know, and I'm going to allow you the one I don't know, so all of us can Google it. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Better. Make I no go answer something where you go. That's for example, you go fail am because the mirror talk that one.
Oh my god.
So this is product. This is product design. This is product design. This is product design. The small blue circle is UI UX design. The white, let me reduce it so it's not confusing. Ooh. This is UI UX design. The white circle, the white circle is graphics. Is graphics design. The white circle is graphics design. So let me leave this. So um these are the hierarchies. These are kind of the hierarchies. So basically, a graphic designer, a product designer is like someone that can do both graphics and UI UX design. Honestly, how I wish I can wait. Let me get a diagram to use and explain this. Um, what is wrong with me? Oh, let me get the graphic to explain this. Yeah. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for here. I think you can also yes, this is also what I'm looking for. Okay, let me place this here so I can explain it more. Okay, fine. You can still see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Yes,
So
sir.
okay, so a product designer, it's like an umbrella covering UI designer, UX designer, visual designer, usability tester, both digital designer, all Google to go designers. That's a product designer. Now let me actually go more detail to explain the product designer. There's what is called business goal. Let's say for instance, this app that I designed here, I did more of a product designer for this app that I designed because I am able to think about the business goal. How can this platform give them money? I'm this is this, this is more like a product designer. The product designer thinks more about is like the whole the usability rule, the general this functionality of the website. Both um, the business goal, the user research, the visual street. Why the UI or UX designer? The UX designer actually is kind of the second but the visual designer. And inside this visual design, let me also use this someone that can do visual design, brand experience design, strategy, research and development, user experience. Someone that can do virtually everything. A UI and UX designer is what feels and how the UI and UX designer, the business aspects of the product. Okay, I'm not just designing for okay, this is actually a product designer speaking. I'm not just designing for the user interface or the user experience. I'm also designing for how is this product going to make money? How can this my client that I'm designing this for? How is he going to make money from this product? This is a product designer. The product designer goes beyond to understand the business goals, the business strategies of the company and the product. That is a product designer. For a UI UX designer, nothing concerns UI UX designer with the business or how the business works. Nothing concerns a graphic designer with how the user feels about the product. The only thing that a graphic designer knows is how am I going to make this thing look very beautiful, visually appealing, so that when they post it on social media, people are going to click the link or people are going to like it. That's just the work of a graphic designer. And a brand designer is just like trying to give an identity to the product. I don't know if I answered your question, Gladys.
Yeah, you did. You really broke it for my understanding. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. So, Sophia, Amaka now.
Yes, I understood everything. Well,
Okay. Okay, fine. Nice having you guys in this call. So, I don't know. If you really want to start off as a UI UX designer, I think the first thing I'm going to say is if you don't know anything about graphics at all and you want to start off as a UI UX designer, I think the first thing you're going to do is to understand design principles. Try to understand design principles. What is design? Like what are the different types of design principles? I think they said we have 7 design principles. Others argue it's 5. Others argue it's 10. But from what I know, design principles are consistency, unity, emphasis, layout, not layout. I've even forgotten self. But from what I know, there are like 7. If you understand the rudiments in graphics and design principles, I think the next thing you have to do is to understand UX and UI principles. When you are done with that, then you are good to start learning the tool, which I've shown you. 90% or 95% of designers, 95% of UI and UX designers use Figma for their design tool. So the next thing is just to start learning the tool. And on average, statistically, we'll have it that if you actually want to learn a tech skill, and if you focus on it for like 6 months, you can actually become an expert in that. So on average, you can learn UI and UX design and become a guru, like become very good become employable within 6 months. So this is July. And if anyone actually wants to start learning, you know, before December, trust me, you'll be good. You'll be very, very good. So I don't know. I think this is where I will hand over the mic to Gladys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having us. Thank you for your time. Is really all I put this. Anyway, thank you for the time. Thank you for this. This is like a treasure trove of knowledge that you just poured on us. I wrote a lot of things. Thank you, sir. So thank you guys for attending the class. Well, you can send your thank you at the comment section, and also maybe like what you learned from the class, and also you can do a post on about this class on your social media or anywhere, and then tag Value Cup, and also you can tag him either on X or um on LinkedIn. So, oh, sir, what is your name on X so that I can tell them X or LinkedIn?
Sorry, Emery.
Okay, yeah, in both like X and LinkedIn.
LinkedIn is Victor Chimere Omerutha. LinkedIn. Um, LinkedIn is Victor Chimere Omerutha. Am I supposed to? Should I share the link? Oh,
Yeah,
there's no
yeah, yeah.
need.
You should.
Hmm.
Mm, I no. I see that you should. You can actually.
Okay. Okay.
So you can okay. Back to the community members. You can write your. Oh, sorry. You can send whatever you learned from the class. Like post it on your social media, and also you can tag him on X or on LinkedIn. So that will be your assignment. Yes, and also send the link at the group so like boost it and promote it. So thank you all for the class. Thank you for attending. So I think this is the end of the class. Class is dismissed. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again for having us.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I have an assignment. Can you hear me, Gladys?
Yeah, yeah, I'm hearing you. Hello.
Yeah. Thank you. I think you didn't hear. Okay. Don't worry. I'll post it later in the group.
All right, all right. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.